Hi all, welcome back to computer science class, and this is our lesson 3, control structures in C, and this is our session 1 in lesson 3. Good morning and welcome back. So we have completed lesson 1 computer concepts and lesson 2 HTML level 2, and now we are moving on to our third lesson, control structures in C. So let's start listening to today's class. So this is our chapter 3, control structures in C. So before going into our chapter, let us have a quick recall what we have studied about C in the previous year. So C is nothing but it's a middle level language. It is adjustable to both high level language as well as low level language. That's why it is called as middle level language. It is founded by whom? Yes, it is Dennis Rich at A&T Bell Laboratories. So basically, C has certain tokens. The tokens are nothing but keywords, identifiers, strings, special symbols, operators, all those things comes under your C tokens. And you have certain operators like assignment operators, arithmetic operators, relational operators, all those things you might have studied in your previous year. And then comes the header files. Header files is nothing but some predefined functions will be stored in your header files. You can access those header files and use it in your program. So that is called as an header file. So for example, stdio.h, that is standard input output.h, then conio.h, that is nothing but consolidated input output.h, and mat.h, string.h, all those things will have some predefined functions related to that particular concept. That is for mathematical functions, math.h. For string manipulation functions, it is string.h. Then comes the data types. So you might have studied about the data types like integer, character, float, long int, short int, all those things, how it has to be defined, how many characters or how many space it requires in your memory. All these things you might have studied in your data types. And then comes the IO statements, that is nothing but input output statements. So what statement is used for your input operation? That is either a string of characters or a single character. So get S, get C. Get C for a single character, get S for a string, or printf for a string. Okay, for getting the values, you have this scanf, and printing the value, you have your printf. And you have putS, putC also for printing your single character and a string. So all these topics you might have studied in your previous year. That is about the basics in C. And this year we'll be studying control structures in C and arrays and functions. So this chapter will have control structures in C. The next chapter will have arrays and function. So the key concepts of this session is you have 3 different control structures. One is sequential control structure, selection control structure, and iteration control structure. Okay, first, what is a control structure? The order in which the instructions in a program are to be executed. That is nothing but in which order the sentences or the statements have to be executed. That should be given. That is called your control structures. And it determines the flow of control. It is going to determine your flow of control. That is nothing but how the next instruction will be executed. So all these are together called as your control structure. So C support 3 control structures. So already we have mentioned in the key concepts. So in the key concepts, what we have told is we have 3 types of control structure. That is sequence, selection, and iteration. So main objective is you are going to study about the different types of all these control structures, the syntax, the examples and the flowcharts for those control structures. So first here, sequence control structure, then comes the selection control structure. In that you will be studying about simple if else statements, if else if, and nested if, and at last you have switch case. And for iteration control structure, you will be studying this for, nested for, do, while, and while. Do while and while. All these things. So iteration control structure will be discussed in your next session. And in this session, we'll be discussing on sequential control structure and selection control structure. So first, sequence control structure. So look at this step by step. So one next to the other. So look at this also, the sequence. First you have to begin, go with the statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, then end. So at the beginning itself, you can't move on to the statement 3. So it will be going from 1 to 3. So levels. Okay. So that is nothing but statements will have normal flow of control and executed sequentially one after other in the order in which they are placed. So first statement will be executed first, second will be second, and third will be third. So that is in sequence, the order in which they are placed. So this is your sequential control structure. Right. So let us see an example. So I'm going to have a sequence of statements like I'm going to get a length and breadth, the values, and I'm going to multiply it and give the area of rectangle. So this will be your output. So let us see this example in your C program. So where we have to type your C program? Yes, good. It is in Turbo C. So this is your C program page. And once you open this program, you'll get an empty thing. You have to just give a file, new C program. Okay, so now we'll be typing the program here. First, we have to give your header files. So #include stdio.h and #include conio.h. Then comes the void main. And you have to declare the state variables here int a comma length comma breadth. Next, I'm going to give printf enter the length. So to get the value, what you have to give? Yes, correct. It is scanf. So scanf, what is this percentage %d? Yes, good. It is access specifier and you have to specify this ampersand. Why? Because it will be denoting the address of that particular variable. Then you read the breadth, value of breadth. Scanf percentage %d comma ampersand breadth. So length and breadth are declared using the variables L and B. Okay. Then comes area is equal to length into breadth. Now you have to display this printf the area of rectangle is, you have to give your value percentage %d. Since you are going to print the value of a, it is an integer data type, you are giving the percentage %d. I'm giving this getch to stay on the screen. Okay, so this is your program. How to compile it? Yes, you have to go to the compile. First you have to compile, then only you have to run. So compile, alt F9 to check for errors. So there is no errors, and run the program, that is control F9. If you give control F9, so it will be asking the output like enter the length. So you'll be entering the length value as 3 and enter the breadth value as 2 and the area of rectangle is 6. That is 3 into 2, 6. Okay. Fine. So this is your sequential control structure. Next, selection control structure. So what is a selection control structure? You're going to, as the name itself implies, you're going to select some options. So here, selection is nothing but it's a 5 major selection control structures is available in your C program. So the first one is if statement, that is simple if. Second one is if else statement. And third one is if else if statement. And then nested if statement. And then comes the switch case statement. So we'll be studying each and everything in detail with an example. Okay, so the first statement is if statement. So if statement is nothing but it is a conditional branching or decision making statement. It is going to branch from one location. See, in sequential thing, you have seen it an order of statements execution. But in selection, it will be flowing through, then it will be picking up one option. Whichever option is right, it will be moving to that path. And then only those statements alone will be executed. So it checks whether the condition is true or false. When the statement is true, then it will be execute the statement following it. Otherwise, it will be come out of the if statement. Okay, so this is your first if statement. So the syntax for this is if some expression value, if it is true, then it will be executing the statement and the remaining statements inside it. Okay, if it is false, it will be coming out and execute the statements outside this block. So the flow chart is if the condition is true, then the statements will be executed or else it will be coming out of that particular block. So this is your if or simple if statement. So the program for this is you just give a number. Okay, so scan that number. If that number, to find whether the given number is even or odd. So you'll be checking whether it is even or odd. That is the modulus value. If it is equal to 0, then print it is an even number. Okay, so this will be your output. Next comes your if else statement. If else statement is nothing but two alternative statements will be given. So if statement simple if only one condition will be given and one statement will be printed. But in if else, if the condition is satisfied, it will be printing one statement or else it will be printing the other statement. That is, it is used to execute two alternate statements by checking the given condition. If condition is true, statement following the if statement will be executed. Otherwise, statement following the else will be executed. So see the syntax. So first if expression, if it is true, it will be executing the statement 1 or else if it is false, it will be printing this statement 2. Okay, so the flowchart clearly shows that when the condition is true, the if code, if condition is false, then it will be giving your else code. Okay, so this is your example program. You are finding whether the same number is even or odd. If it is equal to 0, then it will be printing even number, else it will be printing your odd number. Okay, so this is your output. Next comes your if else if statement. So it is nothing but it is a powerful multipath decision making statement. It executes the statement satisfying the condition. See, for example, you are going to go for multiple selections. So for example, when you comparing between more than two numbers, if you are comparing only between two numbers, you will be going with if else. So if one condition is satisfied, if it is true, it will be printing, else it will be printing the other option. But in if else if, you can go for two or more choices. For example, you will be checking for first one condition, if A is greater than B, comparing between three different variables A, B, C, which is greater. So if A is greater than B, then print A is greater. No, you have to check whether A is greater than C also. So give else if A is greater than C. Right. So when you go for multiple checking options, then use an if else if statement. See the syntax. So if the expression, then the statement 1, else give again one more condition. If this is false, then it will be going for the second condition, then it will be executing that statement, or else if both the conditions are false, then it will be executing the else statement aloud. So this is your flow chart. So it will be going into the condition 1. If it is true, first statement. If it is false, check for the second condition, that is an else if. If it is true, go here. If it is false, go for the next condition, or else directly to the else condition. So this is a sample program. So number is equal to 10, you will be printing it is equal to 10. Number is equal to 15, then equal to 50. Else if number is equal to 100, or else if all these three conditions doesn't satisfy, it will be moving on to this else part. Number is not equal to so. So this will be your output. Next is your nested if or else statement. Nested if else statement. So it has more than one text expression. So it will be similar to your if else if, but here if will be nested more than else if. So first one if condition, then in compulsion to the next if condition, then again one more if condition. In such a way you have multiple checking. For example, when you go into print a number is either a positive number, and also it should be greater than some value. It should be greater than 10. So it will be checking two conditions at a time. It has to satisfy both the conditions. Then only the particular number is greater than 0 as well as it is a positive number. Okay, so if the first expression is true, it checks the second if. If the second is true, then it go for the next if it is present, or else it will be giving the statements inside the if. If both the first condition fails, then it directly execute the else block. There is no other go. So no else part. If all the if fails, then it goes to the else block. So look at this example. First the syntax. So syntax is first if expression 1, then again you are going to check for another expression 2. If that expression 2 is true, then it will be printing statement 1, or else it will be printing statement 2. If this if condition itself is false, then it will be printing the statement 3. That is your else statement. Okay, so this is your flow chart. So condition, the statement, next condition. So this is your flow chart of nested if. And this will be your example program for nested if. So you are assigning some values. You are checking whether both the values are satisfied. Both the conditions are satisfied. If both are satisfied, then it will be printing the value inside that particular block, or else it will be moving on to the outer block. So this will be your output. Okay, so let us see examples for all these 4 types: simple if else if, and nested if. So let us go for a new page. So give #include, all those statements are same, stdio.h, and #include conio.h. Why this conio.h is used? It is used to clear the screen. So int a. First printf enter the value. So you're first entering the value. Before that, let me give us a clear screen. So you're going to scan the value. %d, comma, yes, good. Ampersand a. So this is your value. Now you are checking the condition if a modulus 2 is equal to 0. Double equals will give whether the left hand side and right hand side are equal values. So you are going to print the number is even. If it is equal to 0, then the number will be even. So this is a simple if. So there is no else statement. So let me first compile this. What is the step for compilation? Yes. Alt F9. So go to compile, give compile. We'll give a get ch statement. Go for compile. Okay, there are no errors. Run the program. I'm giving the value as 4. 4 is an even number. Okay. So in the same program, we'll do with an else also. So if this condition is false, then what you have to print? Yes, good. You have to print it as an odd number. The number is odd. Okay, so let us execute this. First, every time you have to first compile and then only run. So I'm giving 1, the number is odd. Okay, I'm again checking for one more condition. I'm giving 6, then the number is even. Okay, so this is if else. Now, if else if. For if else if, we are going to compare whether 3 which is greater than A, B or C. So you are going to check whether A, B, C, which one is greater. So first you have to declare integer A, B, C, and you have to enter the values of all the 3 things A, B and C. So go for the scanf statement, %d and %d for all the 3 values. So what you have to give, comma, ampersand B, comma, ampersand C. So I'll give here, enter 3 values, then only you can understand how many values you have to give. Or else you can type, enter the value of A, enter the value of B, enter the value of C. Okay, so now we are going to check the condition. If A greater than B, and this symbol is an AND symbol, and A greater than C, if this condition satisfied, then you have to print A will be greater because you are comparing A with B and C. A is greater. Else, since it is if else if, you have to give else if. Again you have to check for condition. What condition you have to check? Yes. Now if A is not greater than B, then B will be greater than A, and you have to check whether B is greater than C. Okay, if B is greater than C, what you have to do? You have to give it as B is greater. You have to print B is greater. And in else condition, if all these conditions are not satisfied, it is automatically denoting that C is greater. Okay. So now we'll compile this program. Compile, no errors, run the program. Run, enter the 3 values. I'm entering 12, 13 and 14. So which is greater? A is 12, B is 13 and C is 14. It compares and gives C is greater. Okay. So this is your if, else if and else. And lastly what we have seen? Yes, if ladder. So in that first we'll be getting one single value A. So enter a value. We're just comparing whether it is giving two individual conditions, whether A is positive and A is greater than 100. So first you are checking for the condition if A is greater than 0. Okay, again we are going to check if A is greater than 100. So if A is greater than 0 and if A is greater than 100 means you have to print what you have to print? Yes, you have to print A is greater than 100. Greater than 100. Okay, so next you have to go for else statement. If it is not correct, then you have to print A is less than 100. So you have to print of A is lesser than 100. Since this condition is not satisfied, it will be printing it is lesser than 100. Okay. So once this condition gets satisfied, it will be moving on. If both the conditions are satisfied, it will be printing this, or else it has to print A is negative. So you have to print A is negative. Okay. So you have to print this. Now we'll compile this. Compile, no errors. Run the program. So enter a value. I'm giving 45. 45 is greater than, okay, it is lesser than 100. So we'll compile one more time. So it is control F9. So I'm entering now 120 is greater than 100. Okay. So what are the example programs we have seen for simple if else, and if else if, and this is your nested if. So this is first if, second if it is satisfied, it will be printing this, or else it will be printing the else part. On a whole, if both conditions are not satisfied, it will be printing A is negative. Okay. Fine. So the next type is switch statement. Next type of yes. Selection control structure, you have switch statement. So it is nothing but it is an extension of if else statement that permits any number of branches. So instead of having one single branch, you are going to go for multiple branches. So it is used to choose a particular statement among the many statements. You have many options. You can choose any one. So for example, simple example is when you are going to go for find whether what day in a week. So if it is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so you can just check it with this switch statement. Or if you want to print the months in letters, that you can do with your switch statement. So it checks whether the given value matches any one of the given cases. If the value matches, then the particular statement will be executed. Otherwise, this default statement will be executed. You have one term called as default. If it is default statement is correct, then it will be printing the default value. If any of the switch cases is not satisfied, okay, there is a break statement to transfer the control out of the switch body. That is nothing but when one case is satisfied, it has to come out of the switch, because it should not check for all the cases. It will take time. Okay, so it should not check for all the cases. It has to come out of the switch body. So that's why break statement is used. So this is your syntax. So first case, give one value. If the code has to be executed, and then break. If the case value 1 is not satisfied, it will go to value 2. If any of the case values is not satisfied, then it will be printing your default value. So this is your flow chart. So first case 1, if it is matched, statement 1, then break, come out of the out of this switch itself. So if it is not matched to, then if any of the cases is not matches, then it go for default, then print that statement, come out of the program. So for example, so look at this example, x is equal to 10, y is equal to 5. When it is 1, it will be printing high. When it is 0, it will be printing by. Okay, this will be your output. Okay, now let us see an example program for this. Okay, let's go for a new page. Let us make it fast. stdio.h. new.h, and then go for void main. I'm just going to get one single value, integer a. So printf, enter the value, and scanf, just get the value. So once you declare a value, you have to read those values. Ampersand a. Okay, you have to end each and every statement with a semicolon. Now let me go for a switch. So switch, I'm going to pass this value of a. Okay, I'm just going to give case if I'm giving an input number as 1, what should it print? Printf. So it should printf Sunday. So if it is 1, then printf Sunday, and then I'm giving a break. Okay. If it is not 1, if it is 2, then what I have to print? Printf Monday. So for all the days you can give, for 7 days you can give this. I'm just giving only 2. Then I'm going for default. So default, if I'm not giving any of this 1 or 2, it has to print Saturday, some other day. Okay, I'm just breaking this statement. Coming out of this switch. And coming out of the program. So let me compile it. What is the first step for compiling? Yes, it is Alt F9, Alt F9. So there is no errors. Now we are going to run it, Control F9. So Control F9. So since I haven't given clear screen, so it is showing the previous output. Enter the value for Saturday. Okay. It gives clear screen and come. Okay, I'm running this program. If I give 1, what should it print? Yes, Sunday. Okay, so this is your switch case. So whatever value, based on that value, it will be printing this output. Okay. So that's all with today's session. We'll go for a quick recap. Okay, what are the things we have seen? Yes, the control structure. That we have seen sequential and selection. Sequential is nothing but step by step, and selection is nothing but you are not moving in a sequence, that is a step by step procedure. You are based on some condition, you will be giving the output. So you have seen 5 types of selection control structure. One is if, that is simple if. Second one is if else, that is first the condition, else the answer. Then if else if, checking for 2 condition in F1 and else if 1, and nested if, multiple if, then with an else part. Switch case, it is a just like an if else if, you will have multiple options. So when one one case is satisfied, it will be printing, and then it will be using the break statement to come out of the program. Okay. So now it is assessment or activity time. So in order to do your assessment, you have to join your Google Classroom, and this is your code ZSBQHFU. You have to type this in your join class, and then you'll be joining this class. Then this time we have an assignment as C programs. Okay. So you have to write the C program to find the volume of a cylinder. This is similar to your sequential. It's not selection, it's sequential. The first program to find the area of rectangle we have found, the similar thing you have to find the volume of a cylinder. And second program, whether the given number is odd or even, the same thing I have explained in that video, previous slides. And next thing, you have to find the smallest of three numbers. I have used largest of three numbers program. You have to write the smallest of three numbers. And lastly, you have to print the months for the input number. If it is 1, you have to print January. If your input value is 2, then you have to print February, all those things. So this is similar to a switch case. So in switch case only, you will be going for multiple options. Okay. So that's all with today's session. Thank you, children. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.